Whenever I talk about LEAPS options, one of the first questions I get from people is, what does LEAPS stand for? LEAPS is an acronym that stands for Long-Term Equity Anticipation Securities. This is usually followed by a question something like, what makes a LEAPS option special, unique, or different? As alluded to by the name, LEAPS are stock options with 1 year or more until expiration. If you follow my channel or seen any of my videos, you'll immediately recognize that what I typically use for an expiration date when dealing with option contracts is usually weeklies or monthlies. But what makes LEAPS options so unique, and depending on who you talk to, is that the expiration date will typically be 6 months or more away. But for my purposes, whenever I deal with LEAPS options, I'm using an expiration that's 1 year or more away. So other than the longer expiration date, everything else about the option contract stays the same. And then someone will always ask this, are there any benefits to LEAPS? One of the immediate benefits of owning a LEAP is that you control 100 shares of stock without having to pay for those shares. But wait, what does that mean? I don't have to pay for the shares. Let me explain it like this with a quick example using Apple Incorporated. So here we see 100 shares of Apple stock, and the current price is $140. So in order for me to actually own those shares of stock, my cost to purchase would be $140 per share times the 100 shares, which would equal $14,000. Now compare this to a LEAPS option, where I would have the underlying stock being Apple Incorporated, and my expiration date would be a year or more away. So in this case, I've got January 19th of 2024, and I've specified a strike price of $140. Now, in order for me to own this LEAPS option, which would give me control of those same 100 shares of Apple stock, my cost to purchase this LEAPS option would be $29.80 per share, times the 100 shares, giving me a total cost of $2,980. So with ownership of this LEAPS option, I didn't have to pay the full price for 100 shares, remember the $14,000, but instead I only paid $2,980, and now I control 100 shares of Apple stock that I can sell or trade. So with this lower cost LEAPS option, I have the similar abilities just as if I had directly purchased 100 shares of Apple stock. Now that I've briefly discussed LEAPS options and the huge price savings that are realized for controlling 100 shares of stock versus directly purchasing those same shares, let me now take a moment and describe how I make money with LEAPS options. This first technique is pretty simple and straightforward, and it's based off the philosophy of buying low and selling high. So I'm going to go ahead and buy and hold my LEAPS in order to earn a profit. And basically I use 3 steps. Step number 1, first, I identify the underlying stock that I'm going to be using for my LEAPS option, and I want to find a stock that has huge growth and upside potential. Step number 2, I'm going to purchase the LEAPS option and specify an expiration date that's 1 year or more out. By picking an expiration that is so far into the future, it greatly reduces the theta time decay of the option. Additionally, the long expiration, it provides a significant amount of time for the share price to rise higher, and the intrinsic value of the option will also increase. And as a result of the increased intrinsic value, it now takes me to step number 3. It means that I can turn around and simply sell the LEAPS option for a profit. So as you can see, this technique is exactly the same approach that would be used for purchasing and holding direct ownership of stocks. So it's nothing new here, except that I'm able to take advantage of a stock and its appreciation without having to actually spend the money to own the stock. So now let's take a look at the LEAPS that I've actually purchased. I've gone to my account history, and we're going to take a look at this transaction here. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and let's look at the details behind the LEAPS contract that I bought. This is for stock symbol OCGN, and I'm buying a call with a $2.50 strike price that has an expiration date of January 20th of 2023. So this option contract has a duration of 652 days. I executed this order on April 8th of 2021, and you can see that it was filled at 6:52 in the morning Pacific time. So when I executed this contract, I paid $5.85 per share, so the total cost of this contract was $585. Now I'll walk you through the actual transaction. So the company is Ocugen Incorporated, stock symbol OCGN. So then I picked trade, and then trade options. And now because it is a LEAPS option, I wanted to pick an expiration date that was at least a year out. So I decided to go as far out as I could, and I picked the January 20th, 2023 expiration date. Next, because I was looking to buy a LEAP call option, I had to select buy and call. And then I picked the $2.50 strike price, which at the time was showing a $5.83 per share premium. So I selected this option, and I wanted to buy one contract, and I specified my limit price as $5.85. So for this LEAPS call option, I was paying $585 for the right to buy 100 shares of OCGN for $2.50 per share on or before January 20th of 2023. So I submitted my order got received, and then soon after, my order got filled. So just to summarize, I purchased a LEAPS call option of symbol OCGN with an expiration date of January 20th, 2023, and a strike price of $2.50. Now, my cost to purchase this LEAPS call option was $585. Now let's fast forward 15 days to April 23rd, 2021. Here's the daily chart for OCGN, and what I immediately recognized during that day is that the price was moving upwards. In fact, it had gapped up that day. So I decided to sell my LEAPS call option even though I'd only held it for 15 days. So here's how I submitted my sell to close of my LEAP call option. Here's my LEAPS call option for symbol OCGN, and it has a January 20th, 2023 expiration date. So I selected trade and then sell, and I'm selling one contract, and I specified a limit price of $9.25 per share. So with this order, I was selling my right to buy 100 shares of OCGN for $2.50 per share by January 20th of 2023. I reviewed my order and it looked good. I was going to sell my LEAPS call option for $9.25 per share. So I submitted my order and it was placed. Now let's take a look at my account history to find out what happened with this transaction. So here it is here. I'll go ahead and click on it so we can see the details. So this is me selling a LEAPS call option for stock symbol OCGN that had the $2.50 strike price and an expiration date of January 20th, 2023. I submitted this order on April 23rd, 2021, and this order got filled at 7:34 a.m. Pacific time. Now my order was filled with the limit price of $9.25 per share, which means I received $925 for selling this LEAPS call option contract. If you like what you've seen so far in this video, do me a huge favor and smash the like button. Next, let's walk through the transactions where I actually purchased the LEAPS call option contract and then sold it. So on April 8th, 2021, I purchased the LEAPS call option, which had an expiration date of January 20th, 2023. So that gave this option contract a duration of 652 days. Now for this contract, I paid a premium of $5.85 per share, so I had to pay in total $585 for this LEAPS call option. Next, we jump to April 23rd of 2021, where I ended up selling my LEAPS call option. Now for selling this LEAPS call option, I received $9.25 per share. So when this transaction completed, I had a credit of $925 added to my trading account. So my net profit from this LEAPS call option was $340. And from a percentage perspective, that's a net profit of just over 58% for a 15-day investment. Now, my original plan was to just buy and hold the LEAPS call option for the long term, right? A year and a half, because I saw the potential growth in this stock. So I could easily see the stock climbing in price, which means this call option would also appreciate in price. So a year from now, these options would be deep in the money, so I could get a great discount on actually exercising this contract and purchasing those shares. I have one more example with a recent LEAPS option that I purchased. And I'll make it quick and just share enough of the highlights so that you can see the potential. A little bit over a month ago, I purchased a LEAPS option for Lucid Group Incorporated, stock symbol LCID. This has a $5 strike price and an expiration date of January 20th, 2023. So you can see that I submitted my order on September 9th, and it was filled later that morning at 7:12 a.m. Pacific time. Now at the time, I needed to pay $15.15 to purchase this LEAPS option, and when the option contract was filled, I ended up paying a total of $1,515 in order to own this LEAPS option contract. Now let's fast forward to today, November 1st, 2021, just 53 days after I purchased the LEAPS option contract. Here we can see the current price for the LEAPS option for stock symbol LCID with the $5 strike price and the expiration date of January 20th of 2023. This option contract is currently worth $32.60. So if I sold my LEAPS today, would I make a profit? So let's look at the numbers and walk through the calculations. So the current value of the LEAPS today is $3,260. In order to purchase this LEAPS contract, I paid $1,515. And so the difference between the two is my profit, which is $1,745. And that's a 115% gain in just 53 days. The key to my success here is that I was fortunate enough to pick a good stock. And I'll be holding a live trading session in November to show you exactly how I do it. In this live trading session, I'm going to share with you my 3-step process that I use for picking stocks for options. I'll also be showing you the resources that I rely upon that help me make these decisions. This includes all the websites and all the tools that I use, including the one here, my PS40 analyzer tool that I use for both covered calls and cash secure puts. And because it is live, you'll have a front seat as you watch me use these tools and see the exact buttons I push and the information that I get in making my decisions. I'm finalizing the training curriculum now, and this is going to be 2 hours of live training, and it may actually go longer if there's enough interest. Because this is a longer training session, I realize that some of you may not be able to stay for the entire time, and that's okay. Or maybe you won't be able to attend at all because of other commitments, and that's okay too. Or maybe it's a difference in the time zones, or you'll only be able to join late, or whatever. That's okay. I've got you covered, because I'll be recording everything. And after this training session, you can purchase an all-access bundle that includes full video recordings so that you can watch at your convenience, the downloadable audio podcast so that if you want, you can listen to this entire course privately while you're engaged in some other activities. And I'm also going to throw in my PDF version of my slides so that you can print, read, make notes, or whatever you want. Plus, as a free bonus, I'm also going to include all of my worksheets, including the Picking Stocks for Options Analyzer. So be sure to register to receive the details of this upcoming training and also receive the special link so that you can access. Just visit my website, simpleoptiontrading.com/picking stocks for options. Now, in case you're wondering, I didn't forget, here's the second technique that I could use for making money with my LEAPS option. It's often referred to as the poor man's covered call. Give me a few minutes and I'll quickly describe it, just enough so that you'll understand how it works. So with the poor man's covered call, I own the LEAPS option, which means I control 100 shares of the underlying stock. And because I control those 100 shares, it now gives me the ability to sell covered calls against those shares. So with those controlled shares and under my LEAPS option, I'm going to sell short-term covered calls that are out of the money. And because the LEAPS option has an expiration date so far in the future, it allows me to sell shorter-term covered calls, say weeklies or monthlies, on a continuous basis up until expiration. And each time I sell these short-term, out-of-the-money covered calls, I'm able to collect premiums. Now, as the expiration of my LEAPS option contract comes closer, I have several options available. I can either exercise the option, I could sell that LEAPS option, or buy to close my position. Now, I've barely scratched the surface describing this poor man's covered call, but I've got a big treat planned for all of you and all my YouTube channel audience. I'm planning an interview with John Greathouse of Core Position Trading to come onto my channel and help explain the poor man's covered call in detail. John's going to talk about its profit-making potential, plus all the do's and don'ts of this technique. Now, he's an expert option trader with years of experience, and I'm super excited to speak with him. So keep watching my channel. I plan to interview John soon. If you like the information about my stock picks, then consider joining my Patreon, where I share exclusive videos of my stock picks every week that I'm going to be using for profitable trades. I also include my research notes, stock analysis, and trading strategies for every stock I pick to watch for that week. And of course, all my videos posted on my Patreon are ad-free. There's one last thing before I end this video. Now, making profits and generating an income from option trading is a great thing, but keep in mind that all gains made from trading are considered income and are subject to applicable tax considerations. So every month, I save a portion of the profits that I earned in order to pay for my federal and state taxes. So please consult with your CPA, licensed financial advisor, and/or tax preparer regarding the tax liabilities for your unique situation. If you're still watching this video, I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I also want to wish you good luck and lots of success with all of your trades.